7:30 from New Englandville Studios. Good morning and welcome to the final edition of the program, Good Morning Salon, for this week, where they come to you from 98.1 FM. Today on Friday, January 24, 2020. We will bring this Friday edition of the program come to you. Mina Asma James.
And Mina Khadija Bangura, good morning. Inside the program this Friday morning, Transparency International inside the 2019 Corruption Perception Index Survey report shows say Salon go up and the fight against corruption by 33%. The lawyer for first-term President Anes Bai Koroma, Joseph Fitzgerald Kamara, don't say for make first-term President Koroma be persons of interest and the Commission of Inquiry not good for the country democracy. And as today, Friday, January 24th, International Education Day, we go talk to the Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Dr. Moinina David Senge. We go talk about in plan them where government get for push the book learning go before na salon.
This and plenty others to read them, plus first-term United Nations Executive Representative na Salon, Michael Schulenburg, don receive the Grand Commander of the Order of the Republic of Salon Award, where President B.O.B. Giam inside April last year. Wakaboton are part of the program for you. Yourself with a listen can be part of the program through your text message to the AfriCell number 077-981-981. You can also go now with Radio Democracy Facebook page and drop your comments there on any of the issues them what they discuss this morning. The program na Good Morning Salon and they come to you from 98.1 FM.
We continue with the program Good Morning Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM 077-981-981. Now the number for send you message and yourself will be part of the program this morning.
Well, as we are from the headline this morning today, na International Education Day. So because of that and plenty other one them, we want to welcome Dr. Moina David Senge, we are the Minister of Education. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, thank you very much.
The first tennis today get you from when you be Minister of Education. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Don't be belated. All right, we'll come to you shortly.
We continue with the program Good Morning Salon, and the first issue we'll go look at this morning. I want power headlines to read them. Outside the first-term United Nations representative na Salon, Michael Schulenburg don't say the thing them way the presidents they do now go help for maintain the country in peace and democracy. Michael Schulenburg talked this where President Bio be the Giam, the Grand Commander of the Order of the Republic of Sierra Leone State House. Radio Democracy Mohamed Sharif gets more and they go now report.
Inside 2009, the United Nations Secretary General been picked Michael Schulenburg as the executive representative for head the first United Nations Peace Building Office na Salon. And according to authority them, Mr. Michael been help for bring peace and support democracy na Salon. But with all in contribution them na Salon, the United Nations been asked Mr. Michael Schulenburg for left Salon before the November 2012 general elections. And the United Nations no be give reason for that. But April 27, 2019, the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, been awarded Michael Schulenburg as the Grand Commander of the Order of the Republic of Sierra Leone. But from that time, the way the President been get this award, Mr. Michael no been there in the country for receive an award. We make Thursday, January 23, President Bio been officially present this award to Mr. Michael Schulenburg. Na status, outside the Director General na the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, Joseph Egbenda Kapua, been give background to Mr. Michael Schulenburg.
Besides your work in our country, your 30-year-long and distinguished career with the United Nations was displayed in various challenging positions and many of the world's troubled spots, including Afghanistan, the Balkans, Haiti, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Pakistan, the Sahel, Somalia, and Syria. You were also director with the Organization for Security Cooperation in Europe and in Vienna. Born in Germany on October 16, 1948, you hold a master's degree in economics from the Free University in Berlin and additional studies at the London School of Economics and the École Nationale d'Administration in Paris. You are married with 4 children. During your tenure here in Sierra Leone, Sierra Leoneans say a listening ear for various perspectives without being patronizing or dismissive of issues formed parts of your character. They testify your love for Sierra Leone and that in your interaction, it was you and evident that you, Michael Fonda Schulenburg, longed for peace, stability, and for all Sierra Leoneans to have access to the basics. You, being 72-year-old, initiated a series of broad interventions to consolidate peace and support democracy in our country, Sierra Leone. Amputee and women groups, the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists Large, and the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Michael Fonda Schulenburg, you, by all accounts, much respected and successful in your role as Executive Representative of the Secretary General, the head of the UNIPSIL mission in Sierra Leone.
And after we received this award, the first and United Nations Executive Representative na Salon Michael Schulenburg say a glad for this award with the President on Kiamna in life.
Mr. President, I must say I feel very excited. This is really the greatest honor I have had in my life until now. I come from a family, what you would call paramount chiefs. And it's a very old family. I mean, it's good for hundreds of years. And it's the first time in these 850 years that one of our family gets such a distinction from a country outside Europe. It symbolizes the change of time also, because it symbolizes that with the end of the Cold War, this European-centered, the transatlantic-centered world is opening up now. And now I get an order, which is actually also a sign of a government and of a people who are very self-confident, because you would never give an order. So I think that is also for my family at first, so it will come in our book.
Keyon say the things them with the presidents they do now could help for maintain peace and democracy in a Salon.
I must say, in Sierra Leone, it was also always with my heart. I've always liked Sierra Leone with all the shades, with all the politicians and things like this one, with all the conflicts. And you know, when we say that it's a difficult time, I think actually, I just spoke to your Minister of Defense, compared to many other countries where there was peacekeeping, peace-building missions, Sierra Leone is one of the very few who is successful. And it is not because of people like me or things like this one. It's because of people like you all. How many countries can say that? I think that we have really to see that also there is something in Sierra Leone among yourselves that actually has made it a success, and I'm sure it will continue to be a success story. And I can only tell you, I wish you all good luck, success for the future, and I'm sure that you're on the right track. I have no doubt about this. Yeah.
And inside Ion talk after we don't officially present this award to the first and United Nations Executive Representative na Salon, the President, Dr. Julius Madapio, been tell thank you to Mr. Michael Schulenburg for bringing peace and support Salon democracy.
This for us comes as no surprise at all. You deserve more than this. You did your best for us, and you were and still are an unusual diplomat. You speak your mind, and that is why you've been honored. And this is on behalf of the people of this country. You actually did great things for us.
President Keyon say Salon don't they get plenty challenge them for maintaining the country in democracy.
We have been struggling with democracy. It's quite a tall order, as you know. Without the fundamentals, without the pillars, we've been trying to build a democratic state. And you came in at a critical juncture, and you were able to support the process, maybe much more to the detriment of even your career. But you never regretted it because you stood for what you thought was right, and that is why we respect you, and that is why we have honored you today. We did so with every consideration that you are a great diplomat. Thank you very much.
And the first and United Nations Executive Representative na Salon, Michael Schulenburg, been end up assure the President and the public say he go carry on for support Salon and Salon people all them. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Mohammed Sharif, the reports.
7:40 now the time from our studio clock. We continue the program. Good morning, Salon. Where they come to you from 98.1 FM. Well, earlier on, we don't say now the program today at the International Day of Education, day where the United Nations General Assembly be adopt INSAI December 3, 2018 for honor education and celebrate the role where education don't bring now the global peace and sustainable development. Well, at the program this morning, we can't talk about that, but we want to welcome again Dr. Moina David Senge, we are the Minister of Basic Education. Morning, once more, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Before we can talk about the International Education Day today, we don't dey after you for come for give updates on um, the Ministry of Education for can give updates on wetin dey happen there and you plan for push that sector they go before. But again, before we talk about that, let we look at you as head of DSTI and now Minister of Education, the transformation, how it can like as Minister of Education.
So me, I'm still Chief Innovation Officer. I think the president make that very clear. And parts of the reason why I make I maintain as Chief Innovation Officer is because we get the plan. The STI, the president's vision, and we will launch the national innovation and digital strategy, a long-term strategy. We cover Boku area then from technology, innovation, education. In education at one panel area then they so actually the sector we would work with the most at the STI primary Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Trade and Ministry of Education. And with education we do all the work with the education data hub. So luckily for me, in a way been I'm beginning to do education work before the president give me the honor for serve as minister. So the transition been actually very smooth in the sense that the people that within the ministry already then that be my colleagues then because I've been on the meet with them severally. Already I know the data very well because I don't look that data day for nearly a year. And already the minister over there, the Minister Timbo and me will be on the talk and meet quite regularly and quite often. So the transition been actually very smooth.
So why they split you time? Because education ministry in a huge ministry than they and they require full time um, work.
I think say people then usually assume say the one person and more they work and the thing about leadership that for enable the people in way they work with for made and self lead. So the people in the STI amazing leaders, amazing young people where they do tremendous amounts of work. Um, me role and me value na the STI na strategic vision and direction. And perhaps for sit down and look code, I still the enjoy for look code and write code. Yesterday, one pan the STI staff can at my office for 1 hour. We sit down and look and write code together, and I still do that day. And I did it on several meetings. But the leaders then we did it currently we don't work for 18 months and then they take responsibility for do that. And at the ministry existed before me. The ministry don't did it forever, and you get civil servants and we they enjoy their work. And over the last 2 months, one part thing that we don't become clear is that people that they come to me, like director there, where they say for the last 6 years or for the last 10 years, whether in this ministry, I feel alive again because you allow me for the work. So, for example, FSSG, then board, somebody in that board die, and then some other person resign. They write letter to we say they want to reconstitute the board. The director, where they lead, where we're responsible for this, actually then CC me and in and many times to her and say please take action. She reconstituted the board the same day, respond in 24 hours. Say for these 6 years within at the ministry, and then one day see anybody respond within 24 hours. And so the reason we make actually this is possible is that the leaders then we did it, both the STI and the ministry actually they enjoy their work and then they do their work. So in terms of splitting the time, it's very manageable.
Apart from splitting your time, when you look at DSTI, na new office, the president's been created and put you there as chief innovation officer. And data na one way president Bio really keen about and try for encourage Sierra Leone for embrace technology. About 18 months, they are appoint you again for be Minister of Education, and education portfolio very huge. You need for provide leadership na then two offices there. How you don't do one?
I think very well. The other day, BWF tell me say, one day see me relax like how I relax since I become minister, and I think it's because I get confidence in my team, and the way we are the lead is from the front and alongside people there. And all man for do them work. Me not, and I dey tell the people at the ministry or at the STI, if you want for me, power per minister approve, well, me not that kind of minister. If you know they do your work, tell me say you know want to do your work, make you word aside. But if you're not director for, like this lady who I mentioned, Miss Kurma, she's capable for reconstitute the board and act on her. Minister no need for go approve and see all thing. Me not even sabi the people then with the FSSG we want for reconstitute them board. Waiting for make me go sit down as bottleneck. And so it really is that I'm lucky the team where I get and the kind leadership style with me they use, not to leadership style where they say all thing for can't through me. All thing they can't through me.
So you dey get two salary for Chief Innovation and Minister of Education.
No, because we're not corrupt.
Alright.
I just do get one salary.
All right.
Thank you for asking.
All right. So give me updates now on the Ministry of Education. So much has been going on, even before the candidate and even as we speak. So a brief. Waiting at the updates on where you get on the Ministry
That's
of Education.
cool. We saw
But that well summarized for you. The main important one then.
Well, I mean, I think the first thing is education. The Ministry of Education and the President's vision are the best thing ever we don't happen at Salone. Unequivocally, vision-wise, there's nothing more transformational for Salone than a free quality school education. Simple. And in terms of numbers, if we want for, and I like what Khadija say about the numbers, if we want to talk about numbers, just between 2018 and 2019, nearly 700,000 new learners then go school. Incredible that within our country where, and we want more kind of school, right? So we don't approve several other schools, right? So the school list will get jumped from around 10,747 last year to now 11,100 and some change, I think 168. And that we able to add nearly 700,000 learners for improved access, fundamental, because we all the part of the sustainable development goals, and partly why they celebrate International Day of Education today, and about access and equity. So the agenda of the president make access something where people enough for worry about again. With the pay exam fees for all man where they take exam na salon across all grades. We don't build and construct 200 plus classrooms. We don't hire over 3,000 teachers. We've been plan for hire 5,000 last year. The one that we will not done for high it's not because of we get anomaly in the data. So not to we fault now that the data no we cannot correct but who mismatch not the day. And the process manual. You know the deputy minister and the chair of TSC. They get for sign 25,000 paper. They sit down every day and sign. Say me I not go do that. So one of the structure we want for doing that for digitize and automate, and it's that with a because they're not useful for anybody for sit down and sign 25,000 paper. You for the right policy that's ending. So which do they do within our priority now that we for do a restructuring of the ministry. So the public sector reform unit don't do an overview over the last year of the ministry, and they meet with them for validate standard this year, this month, if not next week, and then they inform how for restructure the units. And that one thing what they do. The second thing what they do, the education policy, the Education Act, now from 2004, it all, and we need for develop an education act with future oriented. We actually they support the ideals of the president and the vision. And then I talk about data and digitization as well as priority.
We go can look at the process that we get for use for do this restructure at the ministry. But quickly, when you take over the Ministry of Education, primary and senior secondary education, the flagship program, when at the free quality education, been gone, and as soon as you take over, we see issues of alleged corruption being come up at the ministry, and most people don't speculate say now when you take over the ministry you've been do certain investigation we be able for unearth certain alleged corruption them we be they go on at the ministry. How to this be?
Not true. Paddy Francis very good at his job, the ACC commissioner, and because he's very good at his job, by the time where they can, in team being already do this investigation. So I actually meet the investigation they go on. adjust the as a good public servant, they comply and respond to any requests we and team ask.
With the alleged corruption cases there, so with the ACC they investigate now the Ministry of Education, we don't take over. What do you feel saying are some of the things them will not be there happen the right way?
And I mean, before I start na education, I've been getting a lot of opinion about education. I think over the last 10 years, and people then they say, more to go back 10 years. But over the last 10 years, APC destroy education in this country. The last government not being care about education in any fundamental way. And if we not state Zandi and we not accept Zandi, we're not able to begin solving. And so the challenge is within the ministry, not to now it starts, not to last year it starts, not to 2 months ago it starts, because now the same staff we did it, now the same contractor then we did it, now then still did it. In terms of I still the land, I still the uncover, and I still the meet and talk to different people them. But what me want for do is that all things will be transparent. And I make data and digitization very important. All the processes there, will they put out online, all the policies, then what they do, all the subsidies, then what people going to get. So actually, right now, in terms of corruption, one of the government is spend beaucoup money for subsidized schools. Alright, because now we commitment, we think education are right, and the president believes say the only way we transform this country now if we invest in education, if we invest in the future. So it's a commitment that we make, and we governments they pay that money there. But even at that, you get principals and you get citizens there. With the add number, with the pad number, for me, that money where they go now then school out and they use so it's that we as citizens, not they take responsibility for compliments within the government to do. So I think the biggest forms of corruption really not at the ministry day. Now back at in the community, now back at the schools, the people then we they add more than 100%. So they do verification right now, right? So the free quality school education unit where Mr. Amara so they lead they do verification. And then they go to head counts for subsidies. The number they will kind, fine. And it really they show say we as citizens not understand we role it expand this transformation business.
All right. Well, if you did listen to the program, you did listen to Good Morning Salon, where they come to you from 98.1 FM. And at the program this morning, we get the Minister of Basic Education and the day for talk about plans that we get for improve the sector, and also today International Education Day. Now let me look at your plan we get, the vision we get for that sector day. Waiting are your immediate plans then for improve on that sector day.
But so again, I must state that my role now for in many ways implement the vision of the president, right? And not to say I just talk to the president, me and the president talk all the time. And before this
implement the vision of the president alone. What about yours? The one where you get
our vision is aligned. And it's aligned in the sense that the priorities and I make at the end, I make at the time as Minister of Education. And our vision is aligned in the sense that education should be available for everybody, full stop. Quality education for be available for everybody, irrespective of whether you be, how you turn like. And so one part with priority, one part it's in a way you already president talked about recently in a radical inclusion. It no matter your age, it no matter who say you it no matter if you're in a village, it no matter how you turn, it no matter your cognitive ability, it no matter who that you be, you need for be included in education. So we for provide the space, the opportunity, the learning material, the remediation, such that you're able to learn. Because not only that way they will be able to transform the country. So we vision now a belief and a commitment that education that we only way for transform the country. And how, particularly for me in the next 6 months or in the next 8 months, now I've been to say, complete this restructuring of the ministry, focus on data and digitization, automate all them process there. Where exam come out, why make it for take 1 month we picking and then who's the other side in the place? Why make? If it be like that, automatic. If exam come out till tomorrow, if we know school today, there's no reason why that they know they happen. There's no reason why make would they spend beaucoup money for go do verification. It just for be automatic that at the end of the year we know how many picking and they at the school. it go to finance, the payments come out, it go na your subsidy account because your account's correct. But Boku school they know they get their money because their account number not correct, because somebody make mistake, because na paper it dey. And so for me, primarily personally, it's that we did digitize the entire process. But in terms of the grandest of visions, it's that in 3 years, education will be unrecognizable in its current form. People then globally around the world will say, wait, how education be in a saloon? Like they never know, they never confused.
Let me look at the books, the distribution of the free quality education materials.
Yeah.
Now one way don't be a big challenge. Where you come now the another office, what do you find out?
The honest truth is that I now deal with the distribution aids, because by the time we can the distribution may not complete. We still get some books in our storage, and yesterday actually, so one part is what they do in terms of leadership is that in the morning, they call various set of leaders. We can't sit down and say A, B, C, D, which is not the bottleneck we have for remove, which is not the opportunity we have for open. But one part and they said that been for distribution of learning materials.
But when we take over, we see most of the previous minister do handing over notes with some document then we give to you. So
Yes.
we then document in the handing over note. You know, if you don't get a clue of how, especially in the area of the distribution of the books, them don't they go.
But so maybe make her explain. I don't think say extra challenge there with distribution of books. Again, it comes back to numbers. School and day we then get oversupply of books.
You not think about issues them of
School and day we not get enough books. It's primarily because the data where the school then provide incorrect.
But some school them don't they raise concerns say the supply no they reach them.
Fascinating. So this is not the pathway education, the link with local council, and local council will they distribute, and people where they work in the communities, right? So as a principal, the Ministry of Education, they lead policy and they lead national vision, and in terms of say procurement of anything there. But the people that where they distribute them primarily at the city council there. Me self in my first week actually, because they do a lot of sports checks and try to go through the entire process. I go to the warehouse, so the distribution they happen. We Freetown City Council now responsible for the final distribution for basic secondary school. So from pre-K all the way to GSS3.
Doc, from your explanation, it like nothing wrong no they happen na the Ministry of Education, especially in the area of the supply of the books, the school feeding program, and everything seemed for the work smoothly.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Challenges than they. But me, the team, maybe I think about the future. Maybe I'm too optimistic and I'm too not to think about the challenges and more like, okay, how they solve this. And so to be honest with you, I not get challenges yet since we haven't reached it because my staff then they really do well. So I now give example after example after example. So MSCC, where they lead the inspectorate. I go FSSG the other day because again spot check, and I mean they do something what they're not being for do. I send MS a message, it's sending people then the next day then write reports, the next day go to TSC, 3 days later action take place.
Mr. Minister, so you believe saying that the local council for take ownership of then distribution there and distribute to the schools then?
And not to believe, and I don't think that you do.
So what do you make up of the one way, I mean the resident minister not Naimbi receive the supply from the Ministry of Education and fairness stuff for her?
I don't know about it, so thank you for wait. Yeah, no, and again.
All right, so the minister or the resident minister receives supplies.
Okay.
The resident minister receives supplies of rest. The SCC, as we speak, they investigate.
So
and will be better say indeed he received the rest on behalf of that area there. So if you believe, say, the local council now for distribute, how come Ministry of Education go give a government official rest for distribute not the school?
Okay. The question we there has been previously but books and learning materials. So I mean respond to the distribution of learning materials and school resources. Actually now at the local council for primary school to GSS3, it's the responsibility of the local councils, devolution, so learning materials. Now then they have been talk about. If you talk about rest, Look, I did expect Francis for call me and give me an update. Me and you, the team will know now
So
that
was it
Whitney
right for
ACC
make
put.
government official receive the feeding the rest from Ministry of Education?
Me na Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education. You get the Anti-Corruption Commissioner Francis Benke Fala. Now more call Francis Moaska.
Because you're a
In terms of
minister,
principles,
Mr. Minister, because you're a minister, now
Yes.
you right for provide leadership na the ministry,
And I do that
especially na the area of things them we suppose for be for a particular program, the flagship program of His Excellency.
That's correct.
We're very close to in heart, so if
Yes.
we provide supervision and if we know all the issues there, so.
But I'm doing that very well, which is why I let many corruption cases
But
go
you
on.
seem
as
not
it
for
go.
understand because issues like this where ACC they investigate, it all over the media. You say you know ever hear about her.
No, that's what I say. ACC they didn't work. I know they go by waiting in social media. I know they read social media for getting me news from social media.
But they listen to you.
Yes. So, but the data and the facts, the people don't really talk. Who say if they pull their facts? If they get facts or they get data, the only person we get data and facts in this case where they listen to, the Anti-Corruption Commissioner, not to the person where they go tweet and say what he say. Oh, wait, that not to as a leader. And waiting I want for me, all the people in my team understand. I know they go by then say, I know they go by how you feel, I know they go by how me guts feel, me guts and you guts and the feeling of me guts no matter. Within the data say, within the experts say, the Anti-Corruption Commission is the most credible entity for investigate this matter.
Oh, they come back to you.
They still they do the investigation.
When they come back to you, Mr. Minister, they take this short commercial break.
Salon Commercial Bank don't come with new banking products them for make life easy. With Million Online Bank and Million Mobile app, you can able for use Salon Link money transfer for send money to anybody elect you not get bank account. Transfer or receive money na the same bank or any other bank. Transfer money to person or office elect you not get the account number. Buy Edsalight, pay other bill them, and now get advanced salary. You don't need for worry again, but almost money then you earn. Because you can able for pay for things the way you buy in a supermarket and other shop them with the quick response code payment. Yagbadon done for the boss man them. With Beyond Online Direct, you can upload salary, pay all your supplier them, sell forex to Salon Commercial Bank, and watch your account anytime. If you need the app, download them from Google Play Store or any Apple Store, or go to Salon Commercial Bank website www.slcb.com. Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, delivering value.
Commercial Bank.
In continuation of the 95th anniversary of the Prince of Wales School Kingdom, the Old Prince Williams Association will be having a debate between Mansfield, Granville, Macaulay and Wilberforce houses on Friday 31st January 2020 at the school grounds Kingdom at 11:30 a.m. Come and support your house and demonstrate that you keep a niche within your heart for our Prince of Wales Kingdom.
We continue with the program. Good morning, Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. 4 minutes past the hour 8 o'clock. We where they bring the program come to you this morning. Mena Khadija Bangura.
Emina Asma James.
They look at more issues and now they're going to the Commission of Inquiry. Outside the lead counsel for the state, Musa Mewa say because first-time President Ernest Bai Koroma give instruction for pay contractor them at the Sewa Ground Market. Now that make government loss over $18 million. As the lawyer for first-time President Koroma, Joseph F. Kamara, say, for make first-time President Koroma be person of interest na the Commission of Inquiry, that's not good for the country in democracy. Mange Mansare been there na the commission and he go now report.
Inside the commissions of inquiry, the lawyer them don dey continue for give them closing address before Justice Anand Atuguba na instrument room 67 outside the lead counsel for the state Musa Mewa don say because first-time President Koroma bin give instruction for pay the contractor MKD Jazz for the Sewa market make government loss over $80 million.
And therefore the object of the said investment in Sewa ground, construction of a car park and also model market stall, my Lord, has failed, my Lord, notwithstanding government investment of $18 million in sale. There is sufficient evidence before this commission, specifically from Dr. Ibrahim Brahma Cargo, suggesting that notwithstanding the autonomous nature of the parastatal National Social Security Insurance Trust, the then President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Dr. Ernest I. Kuroma, interfered in the management of this project.
Musa Mewa continue say, first time President Kuroma been give the instruction for make them give the couple to MKD Jazz, make them not be follow the right procedure.
There is no denying that meetings were summoned at State House and directives were given by His Excellency the President at the material time. We are saying he ought not to have interfered because there are administrative procedure and structures set up at NACIT. There are even layers of authority between the NACIT itself and the President, not the Minister of Labour, not the Director General of NACIT, but the President himself coming down to give instructions, pay MKD Jazz against the will of NACIT at the material time, my Lord. That is in evidence. That's our humble submission so far, my Lord. Except your Lordship, so wish me to say anything more on this.
The lawyer where they represent first time President Kuroma na the commissions of inquiry, Joseph Fitzgerald Kamara say the government not lost couple na the Sewa ground market project as he say na government still own the contractor.
Shows that work for the construction of 8 structures was nearing completion. That is there in the report, in P2. And it goes further. Concrete work completed, block work completed, metal railing work in progress. My Lord, the gist of it all is the final conclusions of that report. And I draw your attention to P3 under analysis and conclusion, page 3 of Exhibit B, F25. It suggests that the total amount paid to contractor was $18,262,972, and the value of work that has already been done is $20,355,000. Simply put, my Lord, the contractor has expended far more than he has been paid. So where is the loss? We don't have to be a mathematician or a rocket scientist to know that the contractor has invested more than he has been paid, and so the government of Sierra Leone has incurred no loss.
Joseph Fitzgerald Kamara continues to say, first time President Kuroma been give instruction for pay MKD Jazz because the work been slow na the Sewa ground market.
They said the project is slow because the consultant has not been able to give in the reports on time.
Yes, exactly.
The consultant is saying that you don't pay me, and if you don't pay me, I cannot give the reports on time. The contractor is saying that I'm unable to provide this information you need because you have not paid. So the question of payment became an issue.
Yes.
And so His Excellency, knowing well that the delay has caused variation in the contract. When the contract deviates, it accrues and accumulates costs. So it came in with the expedition. If the issue is about payment, pay and let us move on. And that is how the project commenced. Payment was made and the project commenced and they delivered.
Where it been the end up for making submission, the lawyer for first time President Kuroma, Joseph Fitzgerald Kamara say, if the first time presidents them continue for go na commissions of inquiry, it go be tradition for any president where go the left power for the go team up na the commissions of inquiry.
In the order, you do enjoy it. My Lord, I'm emphasizing this point because I have mentioned the issue of political cycle of vengeance. Now we are bringing in a former head of state to answer for functions. When will it stop that we will not bring up another head of state for functions? My Lord, it is important. Will you bear with me? Because I'm sounding prophetic at this moment. It's good for the state. Because that is why we're here, to help that this precedent we are setting today, if you were to agree with the case for the state, you will be setting a precedent that will open the floodgates for any head of state to be summoned to account for any act while he was in office. And that is not correct. And I will make that case today and represent any other former president who would want to come here.
As all this they be, The lawyer for Dr. Sam Sise and Professor Montin Jones, lawyer Lansana Dumbia, inside one response concerning the corruption allegation where lawyer Robert Koa be make before Justice Bankole Thompson. Now instrument 65 say then two first-term minister Professor Montin Jones and Dr. Sam Sise not ever signed documents for fertilizer contracts.
So in other words, in 2014, what they are alleging is only for the price. But my lord, what is 2014? It was Enricardo who said 2014, as you will agree with me, my lord, was the year of Ebola, when ships were not coming into Sierra Leone. We laid it in evidence here. And because ships were not coming, goods were not coming, it also affects prices of commodities imported from abroad. Because all those who were coming in were risking coming to the country.
Lawyer Lansana Dumbia continues to say, now the permanent secretary, Abdullahi Kouma, been signed them contract documents there.
There is no other evidence before this court to suggest to you that Dr. Sam Sise is culpable. In fact, on the contrary, my lord, you will see that even they've not produced the contract, the 2014 procurement contract to this court, for very good reason. When you look at that contract, it was not even signed by Dr. Sam Sise. It was signed by the permanent secretary. My lord, again, this report talks about it. This report is not giving responsibility or ascribing responsibility to Dr. Sam Sise, because they know how the ministry works. They know that the ministers don't even see these monies after maybe they've been taken the decision that this thing ought to be done. They don't even see the money.
Radio Democracy will continue for updates the public, but waiting they happen na the commissions of inquiry with support from Usman Kamara for Radio Democracy. Mange Mansaye, the report.
Right, we continue with the program. 11 minutes after 8, now the time for my studio clock. We ready bring this edition. Kamina Asma James.
And Mina Khadija Bangura.
Right, now we can't talk about the challenges. Then we go now to today on the winner. International Day of Education. Mr. Minister, these few weeks where you don't do another ministry day, what are the challenges them where you think say na obstacle another ministry day?
A difficult question actually, because look, I really tell Khadija, see, I like to look for how to solve the problem there. But I think the biggest challenge now, you get people who sit on the defense and they say, Mr. Minister, you get good idea there, but but they know they help. Now, for instance, they say, will they support you? Then for good more before, if you say we get good idea there, now for can't join we. If you see on our fence, they look for Macy if this where they do the work, then they help we. Then they not tell me say the idea then good, right? So it's that you get beaucoup naysayers, you get beaucoup. But beyond the naysayers, because the naysayers then just inspire me. The one who see on a fence, we just the wait for watch for how you go. And I think it's frustrating for me because every time we sit down and not they take action, the country they left behind. And we they lose a large mass, and the president can always say a critical mass. We they lose them people and they wait for join for do the work. Because this work here not so for me when me picking it, for we all picking them.
You talk about exams. But Ministry of Education NYEC now one married we nobody able understand. After exams it can take months when the results come out and then because like you say the government owe them.
We owe them beaucoup money.
Alright, so what you don't do now with regards that for make we picking and take the exams results come out quick. Because primary school exams now one way sometimes the school kid open results they not even go school.
You get a couple ways in the approach. One that I get a team currently where they try to automate the data cleaning process such that when the data come from WIAC, we are already ready so we not gonna be a bottleneck. The WIAC issue, a critical issue. Currently, my chief education officer actually spent the last 2 weeks now Nigeria and Ghana. They meet with WIAC and they meet with in company and the chief government nominee in WIAC. So where he can, he go debrief me and we go talk about but the various planning. But I meet with the chief registrar of WIAC after where I just told minister. Then they come back early February for more can meet. We owe them about I think $12 million from way back in the day. We just know they pay. We having to talk about how we know in whole government education business with Sobe, with two hand, not to play. and currently we governments they try for sit down with them negotiate a payment plan, and because if we not pay as we own responsibility, we serve paying for shame. We serve for the shame plan the other country. Then we need for pay. But we sit down with them and with the Ministry of Finance and with the government for restructure a plan. In terms of the running the office again now. Yesterday, me director MS me tell me say in hard deadline for when we submit, so we don't have to delay anything. Submit all exam entrance so that WAEC go plan, so that no delay no go see. I don't want to make the ministry be bottleneck. So that marriage day will make it work because assessment important. Though we get to think about the value of assessments and how they assess we begin there anyway, because some of the belief then we get not informed by data and evidence.
Today now International Education Day.
Yes.
This is very important because the for various reasons the UN inside December 2018 they think say therefore honor this day for bring global peace and also sustainable development for country like Salon. How you think says this day important?
So the again back to the leadership of my staff. Now we are like this. Dr. Kamanda, we the lead UNESCO, when I Secretary General of UNESCO, he came to me and say, maybe I ask a question, say International Day of Education, whichever, or he send email. Say, never run with her. And Mrs. Wube don't run with that program there. And so the team actually, instead of for just celebrate International Day of Education winner today, then celebrate International Day of Education week. So for the rest of this week here, they don't do various activity then. On Monday, then go to library board, then go get activity in the library board, then do something with civil society on Tuesday. On Wednesday, they're in a radio nationally, they engage different people there on radio. Yesterday, we been get symposium. Me and the Minister of Technical and Higher Education been in a Miata conference center with Boku Pekin there, hundreds of Pekin there, school Pekin there, who they engage with. And then today, when at the day itself, BBC get one show that they call BBC Crowd Science Africa. I reserve seats.
Mr. Minister, will they come back to you, let you explain how on a day watch this, they celebrate this day.
Okay.
But quickly, let's take this commercial break.
Better don't come, better don't come. Now Union Trust Bank again. Union Salon Banco. Union Trust Bank get plenty product and service there for you. You must get what you want to go better. Let me savings account, ide. Current account, ide. Fixed deposit account, ide. Credit facility, ide. All for you. Me and you. Me and you. Union Trust Bank, that's a loan for me and you. Kids future savings account, ide. School fee savings account, ide. Pay advance salary scheme, ide. We branch and they all up, but not alone. Boko no kenema, we dey. Kabala mabogo kakambia, we dey. Jala free town loan sa, we dey. And my 91, me and you. Union Trust Bank, me and you. Union Trust Bank, Union Trust Bank, na salona for me and you. Union Salon Banco, Union Trust Banco.
Union Trust Bank, empowering Sierra Leonean businesses.
All right, we continue with the program. We will come to the minister later, but let me look at the same issue inside education. Who said today as Salon join other country them for celebrate International Day of Education with the theme Learning for People, Planet, Prosperity and Peace. The National Coordinator Education for All Salon, Joseph Achi Kobina, say for achieve the free quality education program, government for change the current education method, improve the condition of teacher them, improve on the infrastructure of the school and other area them. Musa S. Kamara gets more and gonna report.
The 2004 Education Act gets provision them for pre-primary education, technical and vocational training, adult and non-formal education, and university them for support book learning. This law plus other policy them na indication of the country commitment for support book learning, but the status of book learning na saloon. Now one way different set of people get and take on. The National Education for Saloon Coalition now one civil society organization we don't they look inside the issue of book learning na saloon for long term now. Joseph Achikobina, now the national coordinator for the coalition, talk about how book learning don't turn like na the country over the past year them.
They be established the Bamaja Commission so that they will look into the decadence or the backwardness of education. They look into a lot of factors we're responsible, and some of the factors that we've been responsible like low standard, lack of quality of teachers, the enrollment fall because teachers were not properly trained. There are no trained and qualified teachers, so the quality dropped, and a lot of other practices took place in the education sector, money making by teachers, lack of responsibility on the side of parents, government not putting the kind of sufficient funding so that we can reach the 21% budgetary allocation. So all of these things have been lead to, the fall in the education sector. We see some improvement in budgetary allocation by 2013-14, by 2015-16, the budget fell, by 2017, it fell. So it's like nothing not being consistent.
The issue of book learning now one way person no go talk about without it not talk about the free quality education where governments they implement now. But this according to Kobina, the free education now just statements we need process for making you achieve in quality and free nature.
To me, to declare the free education is just an event. It's an event. It happened. Everybody rush inside. But the quality is a process. So if you want the quality, a lot of processes must take place. We need to get trained, qualified teachers. Two, we improve on the infrastructure to accommodate the children. So the infrastructure must be there. Infrastructure will include the building, the kind of blackboard, the sitting accommodation, how many people per teacher in class, the emolument of the teacher, the conditions of service, and all of these things can encourage the teachers for teach more. They need to introduce more modern teaching methods so that children will learn faster and more. And one of the modern ways is to let the learner discover themselves than the root form of teaching.
The two-shift system na school them na one way plenty people believe say na one of the factor them when they embark book learning na saloon. But this, according to Kobina, now one way government will able solve quick one.
Coalition did a short survey on infrastructure for the school teaching and learning where they take place at the school. We discovered that if we want the one-shift system, schools are able to accommodate, or most schools are able to accommodate all their pupils in one shift. 10% of space was only what was needed for all schools in Sierra Leone to accommodate their pupils in one shift. The schools want jobs for the principal 1, principal 2, or sometimes principal 3. They don't create the space. We used to have one shift throughout. Class 1 to class 7 were there, one shift. 2 p.m. we are off. So why? Let them empty those stores, those spaces they are keeping their personal property in the schools. Let them remove it, renovate it. You can get the infrastructure for it.
For know how the situation turn like na the classroom, make radio democracy, talk to authority them na some school them in self-freeton.
We forget things and we for accommodate the picking at school. When the furniture the way they picking them for use. And so waiting they happen, they picking they all cluster together like the GSS one picking they all cluster together in one class. Some man red matter for some picking and for Sidon. Government will don't consider say a really very important for let them for don't furnish all the classrooms so that if quality education for go on, picking and forget side when they sit down, teachers for feel comfortable for teach the picking.
Then afternoon will be the run, the afternoon shift. But then we don't see and say necessary for local money shift. And coming over for now, we get furniture they hit. So we don't ask. for parents and for coming and help. The school environment, beginning to pay attention to whatever the teachers that they teach them.
Radio Democracy been same way so talk to some school picking them we serve their own opinion not been too different from the school authority them as Salone they join other country than today for observe the International Day of Education. People believe say for achieve the aim of the free quality education, government for improve on teacher them status, improve on infrastructure of education at all level and invest plenty couple by education. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Musa S. Kamara.
Firestone today, not a Firestone today. Mama, Baba, send you picking at school for Bola. Education sweet. I say Firestone today, not a Firestone today. Auntie, uncle, send you picking at school for Bola. Education sweet. Firestone today, not a Firestone today. Mama, Baba, send you picking at school for Bola. Education sweet. I say Firestone today, not a Firestone today. Sister, brother, send you picking at school for Bola. Education sweet. Sweet education sweet. Sweet education sweet. Mama, Papa, send you picking at school for Bola. Education sweet. Sweet education sweet.
Well, that's now music with King Masco and Firestone do inside the program Education Suite as today, na International Day of Education, and we dedicate the music day to all the one them where they go school, the girl picking and boy picking them, and to the Ministry of Education. We hope say they will make a big change in that sector day. All right, now so as we dey talk about Education Suite, and I just want to give example of my district. Now the highest district we get
Whose district?
Pujon district. Now the highest we get number of school picking them. We don't get Bel-Air, we don't born picking, and then in all this of this reform, waiting at the package where you get for then kind picking them the way they go school across the country and not only my district.
I mean, I think before we talk about the package and the solution, let we understand the problem. If so, myself na put on districts and they me people that come on, and they myself come out. If the school where did the HRSS, the secondary school, if then say about 80% of all the picking and we did it na Kumbra, and it normal, and the chief then we did it, the teacher then we did it, the mama and papa then we did it, they all know. If na society, the na ya or na any of the other districts, then we all just the talk and boku picking and the boku gal picking in there. Then gal picking and not to then just the grab them more they for down and get belly. Not to say you just the wake up, you go lay down and net way you do clean, you get belly, the next day you get picking. We don't know the papa then. If you find out curious now your village now you can who don't know the papa then. Tell me.
No, I can't see that now on air.
But I bet na uncle then, na farmer then, na teacher then, na chief then, na people then we will respect where they say this book learning business here for hold on seriously. Now then still they go give belly to picking them. Again, back to the responsibility where we as citizens for understand if education suite, it means say you that teacher day under no circumstance, under zero circumstance, you go lay down with school picking for any reason. But the same teacher then and the same mama, so the papa then, where they talk about we need support at the school then, we need this for we got picking then, and then same they go make picking then with other people then. So it is that we are not ready yet. We're not honest with ourselves as people because we have not accepted that the problem does not lie with the girl child or the problem does not lie with the poor people. The problem lies with us. So in terms of waiting, we don't plan as government. Radical inclusion means say if you want for go school, would they make sure say you go school? Anyhow you turn like if you want for go school, would they make sure
this
say
brings
you go
me
school?
to the question of pregnant girls attending school. So I remember we don't talk on this off mic.
Sure.
So now, and I know the views we can get then, but as Minister of Education now, waiting at the plans now for pregnant girls.
There's nothing we do as a government and as a ministry that is not informed by evidence. So the first thing where I do, maybe in the first week where I can, that will set up a task force for sexual and reproductive health. One of the goals of that task force day, that for tell me, for review and talk to all man of this country, for look at all the data, and then come back and tell with the policy. Look, Salone, that only 1 of 4 countries we don't ban pregnant girls in school. Only before, not we ban now.
So what's the government position now?
The government position is clear. The task force, they present a paper to we, and they will use that paper for make a decision.
All right. Continue for the retweet 8:30 and at the time from studio clock.
Causing confusion. But this confuse me, boo. Look where Uncle Nat in Wall Solid. Look him block them with them beat for him, where they save solid, and at the same amount of cement and sand then they use for beat me on. But look what in the happen. Me wall down for them, all the block they all don't scatter. It like say some kind magic they behind this. You want to know the magic behind this? Now the superior quality, extra strong, extra life and extra yield cement where are the use, and that's not Dangote 3X Portland limestone cement. Dangote cement na the highest grade cement in the country. When na 42.5 R grade cement, when no one day come na this country, and na one of the highest grade pan cement where you go get na the wall. Where you want your concrete, wall and block solid, use Dangote 42.5 R cement, you no go regret them. You go get Dangote 42.5 R cement na all shop and building material store na the one whole country.
We continue with the program. Good morning, Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We look at more issues in the program and we take one per headlines to read them. Also, Transparency International Corruption Perception Index Survey. They rank about 180 countries them all over the world. Also, they can do research for know the level of public sector corruption na then country they are. Inside the Corruption Perception Index Survey for 2019, it shows say Salondo improve na the fight against corruption. As the country moved from 129 position inside 2018 to 119 inside 2019, we make them move to 33% from the past year them. This make the Director of Public Education and Outreach na the Anti-Corruption Commission, Patrick Sandido, assure say this reason where Salondo improve on the fight against corruption go make sure say then continue for do their work. We make a call on government and the public for support the ACC and the fight against corruption na the country. Patrick Sandy talked this to Princess Spears inside one interview after we Transparency International been pulled the Corruption Perception Index Survey reports na do Thursday, January 23rd this year.
This survey na Transparency International, we na a renowned and credible civil society organization. Then they conduct them on an annual basis. Basically, the survey methodology that then they look at several other reports, and those reports go inform the survey, and then they look at several issues, but basically they focus on public sector corruption. So the civil society group, when at Transparency International, want for use these indices for help countries and so that they go improve in the fight against corruption. So basically that way Transparency International they do for really come up with this survey.
Okay, for this year 2019, the survey with them poll, Salono's position then take inside this corruption index survey.
Sierra Leone, they na the position of 119 or 119, and I want to say that Sierra Leone do extremely and exceedingly very well, because the survey before this time, we now for 2018, Sierra Leone be day 129, and also at a point of 30, but this one, Sierra Leone only day at 119 with a 10
point or 10 places upwards, which is very remarkable. But also the score, winner 33. And I want to let somebody also know that the 33 score is also above the African average, sub-Saharan Africa. When they do the rankings, then they do them by regions. You get the one for the Americas, you get the one for Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Sub-Saharan Africa, where countries are grouped together. And when they group together, they look at how they perform, how their performance did, and they establish an average. So if you do very well, you do above average, it means you have done remarkably well within that particular bracket or group. So now this really where we speak to in terms of when you look at the report, and the report they talk about Sierra Leone scoring 33 and the average is 32, so we are above it.
The way we perform in this year's corruption index, is there anything to do with the government in fight against corruption?
Well, certainly yes. You cannot devoid it, because as an institution, the ACC, whilst we lead the fight, the government commitment is also very key. And one thing you therefore know is that this current administration, the flagship now the fight against corruption, His Excellency the President don't wage a war on corruption. They extend to the support we would receive from the leadership of this country regarding the fight against corruption. So as a matter of fact, yes, don't move we to this level.
This year survey where this corruption perception index look at from the different countries, then we then go and look at the corruption rate. Now that's then they perceive say corruption plenty in a country, them way like then get rich people, and say from people them individuals the way highly connected and get money. Now some of them country the corruption highly there. So like Salon, you know, things say like some of the issues then the way they look at we the part of the kind issues then they.
Well, not quite, because when you look at it, you talk about state capture in that context. But that not still means a corruption not in Sierra Leone. It is about what we they do about it, and also the robust posture where the commission don't take, and also the leadership of this country is there to do. Then they talk about more in countries where you have people with a large money, very wealthy, and they want for all the state to ransom. We don't see that they really ugly head.
That's now Patrick Sandy, the Director of Public Education and Outreach, now the Anti-Corruption Commission. Maybe they talk to Princess Pierce inside that interview day. But the 2019 Corruption Perception Index Survey, which shows say Salondo improve on the fight against corruption, and then come out from 129 position inside 2018 to 119 position inside 2019. We make Salon move to 33% na the corruption index perception survey.
Right, we continue with the program. Good morning, Salon, where they come to you from 98.1 FM. We'll hold you shortly, Mr. Minister. We'll go to other issue quick. Outside this being 155-year-old woman abandoned the street, alleged says some people away believe say na poor society man them now that district will be beat them and rape them. Well, because of that, different people they don't they condemn this particular thing we be, and the Southern Province Women Network we self now one organization we condemn this. The president Gatskud Karimu say from where this alleged rape case happened, say now police no arrest nobody. He talked this inside one interview to reporter Kabia.
Before I begin, I really want to thank Awareness Times, Sylvia Blyden, because they actually bring and come to our attention. This thing that happened like 2 weeks ago. We not be know about that. He actually tell we say some form of violation don't take place na Bond District, and that's what we they do about that. So there and then we see the thing in a newspaper, but we hurriedly decide for contact Madam Berry, when are the chief. We're in a part of Spronet, because now then one day now we advise her there that this organization where we form. So he explained the issue to we, and that he said the victim then a hospital na Matrujon. So we hurriedly decide for able for send ambulance for her for bring her na this center na ya.
What exactly the paramount chief tell una say happen?
I just want to talk about in house where they destroy, as well as the rape where they rape his sister. I don't want to go into the details because, as far as I'm concerned, it's for police for investigation what really went wrong.
You see the victims.
The victim tell we say it's something to do with tradition. Traditional thing happen. They run go inside house, but at the end of the day, they can then broke the hose, then go inside, then pull and come out there. At the end of the day, we ask her if he go able to identify any one of them. Say go able to identify one. Where raper? It's a 15-man raper. I saw the raper and I saw that the beater. If you see in the bush there, now in body, they even the dragger. 15 man is saying that the raper. And this the commode, the other one they can. He said the hanger, but you know, it's pathetic. When you talk to the woman, you they feel for cry. You as a woman, you they feel them because what you know happen to the woman. Now we the woman, then now we they affect. It happened to every woman because every woman can be a victim tomorrow. But you know what? For me, this is really inhuman. Inhuman. It's not good for we the woman there. It can happen to anybody. This woman, now a woman, now people born her. This thing don't happen in this country all the time. Now women then are victim. We need for stand up for let we able for say enough is enough.
We see on a press release. So what's inside this press release?
We actually say we want for condemn this act in totality. That it is wrong for what happened to Madam Berry and his sister. And we ask every organization, women's organization, for actually condemn them because it is wrong. This thing be done they happen all the time. That we women there we for stand in solidarity for able for see how best we able for engage government as well as the police institutions then we're actually responsible for waiting don't happen for let them do a thorough investigation and the perpetrators there for bring them to book. Justice must prevail.
The chair for the Southern Province Women Networks on it, that's Kayimo. They talked to Enoch Kabia, but one incident will happen now. The street is being said. Also, a 155-year-old woman alleged say some poor society man them being beat and rape am. We continue with the program Good Morning Salon, where they come to you from 98.1 FM.
We still get the Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Dr. David Sengen, at the studio, where they talk about a ministry and serve as today na International Education Day. They talk about how Salon they join other country them for celebrate this particular day. Dr. Senge, earlier they talk about how the ministry, within their different activity them, what they do for mark the International Education Day today.
Yeah, so I mean, just say yesterday we end with a symposium between we and Ministry of Technical and Higher. We also they show the collaboration between we two ministry then. And today we end with an international radio program. So BBC get one program that they call Crowd Science, one international show. And then they can record them for the first time in West Africa and a Salon, then through Salon, particularly because of we work as in innovation and education. And then they bring people then from West Africa for can debate we on the future of digital technologies in West Africa. And the International Day of Education, as Marvin say, learning for people, planet, prosperity, and peace. Now the theme down there this year, and we combine them for say how that learning day can be reinforced by technology, artificial intelligence, data, and technology. And are they on that panel day with BBC later on today? And like I mean, so we're all invited and we're gonna come. But I think you oversubscribed right now.
Looking at issues them around the education sector and different challenges them don't they come up. Most people they think say they challenge them mainly they on the teachers them where they teach the school picking them, especially during public exam performance of picking them. We make this be enter Yusuf go sit the exam. What you be able to identify as key challenges them who you feel say need immediate response?
So, and maybe I repeat the same thing is that I know they're making the decision without evidence. And so one part the team then we currently with a review. Now this public sector reform units, the paper will then send to we will they adapt. One part the private consulting way the previous minister being allow education partnership group, then submit something, and then be director of planning and policy. We actually they study right now on how to make effective planning. They lead a team at the ministry where they do an education sector analysis. That analysis they due in April. So after the education sector analysis reports come out, this public sector, we our government, we own independent consulting, come out with this other, then we can able make a decision on the side and we'll for make active changes. But for me, in terms of assessments and teachers, right? I think say not just for Salone, by the way, but globally, the way we school day, I mean for we 1800, school not change around the world at all. School now, all man they go sit down like in a factory with it. Sit down straight rows, sit down, don't talk, follow, copy what's in at the blackboard. And they ask you what's in there at the blackboard. If you not tell me that means say you not sabi like factory. Oh. But the world it's not a factory world with it. The world information they all say now about critical thinking. And so we get an opportunity in a salon for we develop our education so they lead globally. The side will in a salon and the opportunity you will get, and they all man around the world want for day. But they know able did it because they don't get President Bill and they don't get this vision. And it is true that if we talk about changes, it requires teacher training. The assessment will be about not to just math, not computational thinking, how you use math for solve problem, not comprehension. If you read, how you able to read and understand what you read, so you're able to read your medicine, so you're able to read for fertilizer, so you're able to read for the economy. Now critical thinking, how you able to take information, fake media, fake news, and use your context for make a decision on that day. Now civics, now make we do civic education and the civic curriculum they go. So this and creativity. People know what they do art, what they do design, what they do fashion and music. And I'll talk about further math or history importance as
apart from the teachers training where you talk about way for improve the way how the school can perform, especially in a public exam. You been as the minister now for basic and senior secondary education. If you get the opportunity for go back to the drawing board, do a review on the free quality education program. Also you think say you go review, maybe things are not on the happen the right.
I don't know if I'll review about things that they happen right. Again, not to say all things they happen correct. Now really that we also for double down and solidify our efforts for the one goal we have for transform Salon. My primary objective. So if you just take the assessment, the pass rates, like as I mentioned, we districts, we now 1% in the past day. If you just look at the data, we need for change that day. Bokoda district are 4%, 17%. We people in the past we didn't take national exam. Now we for take a step back as a society, as a people, for understand why make we comfortable with this level of problem, this level of quality. Why make we comfortable with that? And then after we done, by the way, the president they ask we for get a forum on the future of learning and education over the next couple of months. And that forum they engage all man from civil society to teachers to parents to community organizations to religious leaders. From where we sit down bay and say, whose kind of future education we want for the country? Whose kind assessments we want? Whose kind responsibility and roles for teacher that we want? Whose kind role parents then they play? And at the end of that forum day, we they hopefully use the outputs of that forum for them inform what we do as a country.
All right. As we continue for look at different things them as way for celebrate the International Education Day, let me look at now some of the things them where in terms of programs waiting exactly going forward people then go begin see from the Ministry of Education.
From the Ministry of Education, then we'll see say data and digitalization they happen. So we go to school, all the things that what they do, I want for maybe in real time. I want for me then see say, by the way, now my table something they did it for 48 hours. Me executive assistant know that day and the team they know. So I want for me the ministry could be known for transparency. All thing they, if you ask it, they online with the UD data. I want for me the ministry known for efficiency. If letter can't we, they come on with office back immediately, right? So the team will get right now the minutes on communication can they go back, will they respond on that? So transparency, efficiency, quality. Quality means they do work. Will they work late for make sure say all the policies they will develop informed by evidence and informed by quality, and then vision. And I think it's then possible. And finally, now that really for Salon, we for be known for global leadership in educational reform. I think say we and we they call we Athens of West Africa for a reason. And the reason then was that we've been there ahead of all man around in terms of education quality. And now they're possible again. And over the next couple of years, over the next couple of months, I believe fervently, say the team will get like the ministry with you, with me, with the mama and papa, then we put all the listen. Like if we put we hand under then transformational policy, then they will be able to change and make Salon for be a transformational place. But one simple thing, right? People then say, but how? I want to make if Peking wear uniform. If anybody didn't say uniform, you for see almost holy. You know for beat her. You know for hala, if for respect her, if for treat her like king or queen. A person inside uniform, you for give her the highest level of authority and respect. Because they're leader. If we don't treat people in the way they inside uniform as leaders, we can never get the leaders in society we want for transform this country. That means me and you will begin wear uniform, we'll begin to go to school, we will change your mindset for that picking they don't want. Simple thing way all man they do and they require money. 2. If you picking in a host 7:50, you know say they school far away and school they start 8 o'clock. But as mama, as papa, your responsibility for be like, junior, why make it in a host 7:50, school also 8 o'clock they start. So the next day you ensure say junior grab 5:30 or 6 o'clock and however long it take for going to school so that I did it. If you're not a teacher, where you get curriculum, you get responsibility, you get role, you prepare, you can't have class, you prepare one, and you make sure say 100% of your picking and sabi what you teach them. At the meet teacher then or teacher then they will all sabi what then they say that teacher they nobody never pass in exam but then they if it's sabi teach there or you see what they want. All my feeling exam. It is horrible and absolutely unprofessional. Any side for me, you don't work now for teach people they may sabi something. And then you gladly say, me nobody they pass me exam. And 2 people they pass me exam. It's an indictment to yourself. We all for gladly say, me as sabi teacher, all man they pass me exam. Actually on BBC yesterday, one Wales, one teacher told them they celebrate. All in picking, I think about 30. They all get A-star, A+, and then take the exam about 6 months earlier in the UK. I don't know for celebrate. If all the picking don't go get A-star and I want to get picking and pass for, you are making a teacher. And for change your profession. And for go do all that thing. And then as well, but people then they will not get work. Me every day, where I go now, I they read with me picking. We bokude who know one day read to picking for 5 minutes.
School they go. Now government school they go.
Me picking the kindergarten, you know they go government kindergarten no.
When you plan for like you go government school?
Yeah, it's a conversation we me in the gates and this is an important point. Ultimately, and so let's take this back. There is a current system of education that is poor that we met that we're trying to transform. There's an element where I know say the side where I want to make this education system go. Now we say me picking or president picking or you picking go there and get the same quality education. Now they will the plan for go. Now that make who they do this transformation. But to be honest, it's a moral conversation. But I think say if I can't naya today, so they just make me minister. And I see say the system of education absolutely poor. And then he say, no, it don't matter what even they do. If you put you picking at this system, yeah, it really doesn't make sense. But what one thing I can assure you is that we take education is that in a couple of years, anybody, it no matter who that be, you go on from picking in the public school.
All right. The issue about school feeding is very important. That's some AI. na the country now because of the school feeding starts make encourage people them for picking them for go even at school.
Yeah.
Challenges done the day over the years with this school feeding under your administration. What's not the plan where you get the plan for continue the school feeding if you plan for one
Contractor of the school feeding, other contractor then they where then self get money issues with the ministry, where be done the supply books and other learning material.
Yeah, governments work hard, and in terms of money, the same money will they use for buy medicine, and the same money they use for buy book, and the same money they use for bill for institution, and the same money they use for pay teacher, and the same money will they use for control the economy and make road and infrastructure. And I make, by the way, the fact say we do this financial management and effective financial management policy, and we'll close down corruption. Means so they will pay for Bokutin them without loaning. So even though we don't expand with domestic revenue base, even though we don't close loopholes, even though we don't reduce with debt, even though we control inflation, even though the money don't come Boku, we NRA they provide, it still not do because they do Bokutin. Right, and it's a question of priorities and.
The car you don't fast track for let them pay the contractor on the school feeding. Then say if they consider their own.
Will they consider, oh man, so that's why I could be talk about so just not so more than $12 million. Will they consider, oh man, and I think it's a conversation. It's that we inherited, and again, it's we are not going to pass.
So
a system that was not efficient, that was not well planned, that was not a system where they address them problem they are. So we sit down with partner there and negotiate.
Dr. Senge,
and break down the commitment.
Then system there, so we, according to you, not being there and not be the work. You think say it affect the present implementation of the free quality education?
Absolutely.
All right.
And that's the biggest problem. So we've been, I suppose that I'm trying to say is that the system they're just horrible. They're just bad. And what we they try to do now, not for change the vision because the vision is correct, but now how we able use automation, digitization, transparency, better leadership for make sure say we change the system and they for deliver a better outcome.
So early childhood education very key.
Critical.
When you say catch them young.
Most important.
Waiting on the plans for implementing.
President. We can joke, President like a joke say, all man will get 3-year-old. And the reason is we get 3-year-old, we get picking 3 or 4, whatever, early child. And they change your perspective on leadership, right? And I see with picking the how the engagement at home from parents and how the access to learning materials and how the access to nutrition and just care and love and empathy that affects them overall. So early childhood education and actually ECD and the units with it, I don't meet with them severally.
So
one
governments
of the things that governments
invest?
don't do, Boku,
Okay.
right through the Global Partnership for Education, we actually don't build about 20 ECD learning centers. We don't train ECD facilitators. We don't give them ECD kits. We don't supply. Over the next couple of months through commitments, we don't sign contracts so make permanent ECD structures in several districts.
Okay.
Would they work?
What about the monitors, school monitors?
What about them?
So you plan for retain them, improve on them, employ more?
I will let the data tell me if we need them or not. And the data will tell we in terms of priorities. I did talk to the people that were involved. I still they understand their role. And I still they understand the value we all they are to the outputs. But
Right.
I'm not going to inherit and adopt everything verbatim.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister of Education.
Thank you very
the
much.
program this morning. Well, now then the program Good Morning Salon for today edition. Alex Lawrence Kuma and Michael Sambola and then produce the program. DJ Lavagi with technical support, Moses Kavura and in team. And they make una watch we live now on Facebook page. Mina Khadija Bangura, they say have a blessed weekend.
Mina Asma James, they say goodbye.